called them what? His firstborn. The same Hebrew word for firstling. Firstborn means someone who will take your promises, your service, your ministry, and bring it to pass. That's the meaning of firstborn. Someone who will take your promises, your service, your ministry, and bring it to pass. If you go to Genesis 25, 31 to 34, remember the conversation between Jacob and Esau. You know, because many of us think that birthright is property. If birthright was property, how did the father make mistake and gave it to the second son? If it was property, all the father needs to do after the mistake to say, come, I changed my mind, let's change the property. After all, it's a document assigned. So the blessing of the father upon the children there cannot be property. He laid his hands and prayed for him to pronounce, which shows you it's not a material inheritance. He laid hands to impart the blessing. So the firstborn, therefore, is the one who will stand in your office, take your duties and responsibilities and your inheritance. That's the firstborn. That's the firstborn, which is the mission of the blessing of God in the earth. So Abel believed the promise of God's blessing. He believed the promise of God's service. Abel then offered to serve in the gospel. Abel offering the firstling means Abel accepted to preach the gospel. He offered to fulfill God's mandate of being a blessing on the earth. And because of that, Cain hated him. So Cain hated a servant of God. Is that clear? Cain's hatred for Abel is that Abel has now joined the ministry. Abel has now offered himself to be a man of God and preach the gospel. So Cain hated Abel's new assignment. Because Abel offered the firstborn, which signified an offering to accept to be in ministry, to serve the purpose of God. So Cain hated a prophet of God. Cain hated a preacher of the gospel. You will see that same phrase used in 1 Chronicles chapter 5 verse 1.